My wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going.
All right. And we're back with another episode of Lucius Live. And I got Fresher Luke here. How you doing, Fresher Luke?
I'm great. How are you, Lucius?
Doing pretty good. Doing all right. We had a hell of a time Monday night. Closing out.
Fuck yeah, we did.
Forsaken's God.
The Forsaken's God?
Gods. 2 campaign. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, and I got the screen up here. We look at the final numbers. It is closed out.
Yep.
I did have to be like, hey man, do you mean to go in demand? Because you're in demand. But that
Yes.
gave you, I think that gave you an extra 500 or so. I think Candle Moon said
I think it was
he
like
plugged you after the mail-in show on his own thing or whatever.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. He gave a message on Twitter. I saw where he's like, yeah, we also gave you a little plug later on. But it could have been after from because 8,610 is where you actually close out your campaign. Or that 60-day ended and everything
Well,
else.
I think it was on the wire and it ended at like 9,000. I'm not sure because I thought I had unchecked opt-in to in-demand, but I hadn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until you messaged me when I finally woke up from my long slumber.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing, Lucius. I'm an old man and I have never stayed up that late for that long since I was in my 20s.
Yeah, you're like Apocalypse, man. Like you do your shit and then you have to go back into the chamber and rejuvenate.
Yeah. I'm not as spry as I used to be. But
hey, man, congratulations. You were under 7,000 when you started that night. So that's a nice haul.
You know what? I'm super happy. I really am. Like, that's a great number to end on. Like, yeah. And the other weird thing is less backers, more money. What's going on there?
I'm guessing people pick up perks and probably the chapter 1 and 2 combo because you had very good pricing for that first issue. It was like, I think you did $22 or maybe for the book one. And then you had the digital at 12 or something like that.
What happened? So the pricing for the first book was $15 and $7 for digital.
Yeah,
it was the first time I was kind of really doing proper campaign, and so I was like trying to entice people over. So yeah, you're right. That's probably the main reason why I'm getting more money with less backers. So, but
yeah, and I mean, you're doing a bigger page count, so people are getting more book on this one. You're doing an even larger page count for the next one. I think you're hitting top numbers.
I think it'll be the same page count.
Oh, okay. All right. I think that's still good. I think 48 pages is the perfect cutoff point. If you go over that, that's great. I feel like some of these projects that I was saying on that stream, because Monster MD, I think that was something like 80, 90 pages, something like that. And I was like, man, you could have cut that thing in half and done 2 campaigns on it. I'm not complaining, but other than turnaround time, like it wouldn't have been great to just have that faster feed of it. Not as long as the wait time, but you're saying about June or so on this, right?
For delivery? Probably early June at the latest. Because I mean, in demand has finally ended, thankfully. Only guess what? 2, maybe 1.5 days of in demand, even though I said it wasn't going into in demand. So thank God for that. So I'm not a complete liar.
But here you are. You're at the finish line, man. How's it feel?
Feels great. Feels fucking amazing. I'm glad it's fucking over. Holy shit. If anybody hears this stream and you're thinking about starting a promotion company for creators like me, please hit me up because I would love to purchase your services because there's no fucking way I want to do that ever again.
Oh, I saw something. I don't have it pulled up. I saw something from Jose Garcia.
What's that?
Numina Vox. Like he's just like I gotta like step back. I'm overextended. It's like the whole thing of like your own production and promotion.
Yeah.
And it's just draining. Like you're siphoning off time from the creation by being on the whole YouTube circuit or Twitter circuit. whatever it happens to be, try to get out there. However, it's kind of like, you know, as an indie artist or whatever, that's how you're going to stand out. I think eventually, you know, like, I don't think, like, when I was talking to everyone on Monday, you know, Narwhal doesn't have to put up that same fight he did, you know, 2-3 years back when, like, he was an unknown and he was popping in on draw streams. He was showing up again and again and again all over the place. And really, he just never pissed anybody off. He helped fill in. He like did cards, you know, and he was just like a good sport. And you know, he's Narwhal, like he's like this X Factor kind of thing where it's like you never know what you're gonna get. He was like working out on the stream. There's other times where he's like doing like little like pieces he put together about, you know, AIDS 2 or whatever. Like you never know what you're gonna get inviting him in.
No, I have a pretty good understanding of what I'll get every time I invite him in.
Okay.
The reason I don't invite him in very much is because I know he's very busy. Because he's like,
oh yeah.
That's the thing. Like Narwhal does it incredibly well. Like he draws, he colors, he writes, he promotes, and then he packs and he ships and he fulfills. He does it all, and I'm just amazed that he does it all so well. Like he's the true one-man band. So
yeah. But he doesn't have to still put in that. I don't think he has to put in all the legwork he did up front to do a new book. You know, it's just like he announces it, and he's almost got like an open door invite to the big shows and all that. He's able to make the circuits, and you know, to the tune of 30-40K a campaign.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, that's the law of not diminishing returns, but greater returns. I don't know, but you know, he can just go on like maybe 1 or 2 big streams and make his numbers. I mean, if I had that kind of access, I think I'd be doing pretty well, which I kind of did.
I was kind of wondering when we were on your closeout stream, and suddenly we shifted it over to them. I wonder if there was like, fuck, I gotta push my shit again. I don't know. I don't know what the mindset is of having an open campaign like that. Like, are you always ready to just plug it when you can, like every chance you get?
No, I'm always ready to give up. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I gotta jump through more of these fucking hoops. Kill me now.
But yeah, congrats, man. I'm happy for you.
And as I said before, I'm incredibly grateful for the success that I've had so far, and I'm incredibly grateful for guys like you and others who have sort of been there supporting me, especially when I've been down and sort of bummed out, thinking that, you know, I'm not making any headway. So I really appreciate you guys for not kind of throwing up your hands and going, well, fuck you. Because I mean, I remember the previous streams where I was just complaining about not being seen enough. Remember that, Lucius?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that great stream? For the whole family. So you know, I'm glad it turned around in the end. It was I was kind of just like, 6K, 6 or 7K, something like that. I was like, yep, that's fine, fair enough. It exceeded the previous amount. So
now, I hope this isn't salt in your wounds.
Here we go. Here we go.
But I thought this was like a nice, funny, like of all the NFT takedowns that are out there, you know,
the fucking monkey JPEGs. Well, that is true. They do look like shit. But if you want some good NFTs, guys, look at that.
There we go. Sorry.
If you want some good NFTs, I'd suggest you go check out scatter.art and check out Capsule Machine. Those are some good NFTs.
Have you checked back up on how that project's doing or anything?
Yeah, so we got the first 500 minted, and all of those first 500 were revealed, and so they've set Hateku has got like a roadmap. Struggling with words.
Mm-hmm.
A roadmap now, and we're getting some little promotional video games made.
Oh, cool.
For the project. And now every 100 NFTs that get minted, those 100 will get revealed. So it's a reveal every 100 minted NFTs, which is great. So before they were going to reveal everything after all 5,000 were minted.
Right, yeah, which was crazy. I
was like, I can't promote this. This is bullshit. And now they've changed policy, and so now I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, now I can promote it. So, so now that everything's done for my campaign, like I could probably start promoting that again and annoying everybody with saying, buy my NFTs, baby.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And I just saw this before even attempting to make a show here.
Ooh.
Bruce Willis.
Oh, yes.
Bruce Willis is now
he's got Alzheimer's.
Aphasia. I don't know if this is like beginner Alzheimer's or whatever. Basically, language is messed up. I looked it up real quick. They have trouble like just basically communicating. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like they talked about this on Red Letter Media. Did you see that?
No.
So they were reviewing. They were saying, look, Bruce Willis is starting to star in all of these sort of like B grade, C grade films that go straight to like DVD or whatever, done by really bad directors.
Mm-hmm.
And they postulated, the reason he's doing that is he's just kind of like cashing out now before he retires, because he's like, his agent's like, okay, you want Bruce Willis in your film, that's $1 million. And so he's done a whole bunch of these films that will be fade into memory. No one will know it. And in one of them, he co-stars with what's his name, Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And they play these two cops, and there's a scene where basically Luke Wilson's just doing all the talking, and Bruce Willis is just going, yeah. So it's unfortunate because he's done a lot of great stuff, like a lot of great films that are classics, and I mean I guess he's getting old enough now where he's like, yeah, it's time to throw in the towel. So
I mean, this is definitely like a huge like roadblock. I mean, I don't know, but besides like actually having Alzheimer's, dementia, I don't know what could be worse. When your entire thing is like giving lines and being able to interact, like
yeah.
this would just fuck it all up. But I'm kind of like, at the same time, you can't go on forever. Like everyone has their time, and he had a great time, I think.
Yeah.
What a hell of a run.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So as long as he's still like at least got his wits, like it sucks, but like if his mind is still there, at least like he can at least like understand you. I'd be like, all right, well, sucks that's it. This is like the period on the last sentence or whatever of your career, but there's plenty of other ways. Like I'm sure he can still find a way to find purpose or whatever in life. He was all about dancing, singing, shit. Like I'm sure he has other talents that he can find an outlet into. But yeah, I was just kind of like, wow, like I'm surprised at some of these people that keep shit under wraps, like the Black Panther actor that had cancer, and I mean like really bad cancer, but he still looked phenomenal shape, and also making appearances over and over again. Like that shit wipes people out. Like it brings
tell me
people
about
down.
it. Yeah.
So I don't know how. Like sometimes I'm just like, damn. Like I don't know where you found the energy to do it and keep going. And we only find out at the end that it even happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope I hope he enjoys retirement. He deserves a good rest. I think he's done a lot. So.
Yeah, and if you're gonna get out of Hollywood, this is the time to do it.
Yeah,
definitely. I can't imagine like his character still being welcome or written for, anymore.
Yeah. Oh well, end of an era.
And Disney has been taking a stand.
Oh yeah, this is a topic close to my heart.
I like this little thing I found popping up here.
Holy shit!
James
Lindsay always does the best tweets, man.
let's explore your sexuality
together. Fucking
Jesus.
creep. But look, guys, I was kind of seeing this happening from 2015 when I was there. This was starting to creep up, and I'm not surprised that it's finally reached this kind of what do you call plateau. It's you know, I think it's I want to see Disney burn. I hope the whole fucking place burns to the ground because of all this.
It's kind of a shame too, because I remember being kind of an animation junkie, or I was into it. Especially, I really loved the 2D animation side of it, and it was becoming a lost art and getting forgotten. And I mean, this is not only just like in general, but at the same time, Disney was like fumbling the ball with every fucking movie release they did.
Yeah.
And I remember it being like a thing where they pushed for what's his name? Is it Robert Iger?
Bob Iger.
Yeah. And he was pushed to be the new CEO, and I think it was Michael Eisner was the old
Michael Eisner.
Yeah.
He was the previous one to Bob.
Yes, but people were like fed up because there's just like he was leaving them languishing creatively, and it seemed like this Bob Iger guy was going to be the new blood. It seemed like things were revitalized. You know, you were seeing stuff where it's like entire 2D animation departments closed down, like literally hundreds of people walking out of the offices and leaving the parking lot. You know, this was like early 2000s, and I was like, damn, like fucking Disney is giving up this game. That's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, Toy Story did big money and Pixar was pumping out hits.
Well, this was Pixar was kind of like just a partner. They had a distribution deal, but they were not folded into Disney at this point.
But the other thing was Disney still owned that IP that they made for them. So they owned Toy Story, and the original story was behind the whole Pixar acquisition was their contract had run out, right? And so they were like, well, what do we do? Do we negotiate a new contract, or what happens? And
well, it was a weird setup because Steve Jobs wasn't he like he owned the majority stake or the significant stake of Pixar? And
I mean, he was the one who, well, originally
he tied it all together. Like Disney bought him out, you know.
But originally what it was that Lasseter and I forget who else, you know, the original founders,
Ed Catmull.
I think it might have been Ed Catmull, and I forget the names, but
George
anyway,
Lucas originally had it, and then he let them kind of
go
off do their own thing.
The funny thing was, it was out of that whole thing. Photoshop came out of there, right? Adobe Photoshop came out from Lucasfilm, as well as Pixar.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we owe to that dude.
Like I know, right?
Is under his belt, yeah.
Exactly. But the other thing was that the reason why Steve Jobs got involved with Pixar, it was because Lasseter's parents knew Steve Jobs, and so they kind of went to him and said, "Hey, you know, check this out. You know, they're doing like 3D animation." This is when 3D was like still new and crazy and kind of like,
they were the only people really doing storytelling with it. Like it was all text logos and shit spinning in space. Like that's what 3D was. And then
then they gave
the Wall-E B or whatever.
Wall-E B, yeah.
That was like where there's like, what? Having somebody with an animation background look at it and be like, you know, you can actually take these geometric shapes and bundle them together and make like a character with it.
You're like, what? I don't understand. But
that was revolutionary at that time.
But yeah, and so I think when Pixar got bought out or acquired by it, I think Steve Jobs was going to stay on as a board member of Disney as a result. So, and then he died. But there's lots of stories that have come out about Pixar, about how crazy the environment there was.
I mean, they even talked about, at least for, I know, they were pretty open about Toy Story 2 being an entire fucking debacle. Because that was supposed to be a direct-to-DVD thing. And they divided their studio into like an A team and a B team. And then they're like, what the fuck are we doing? Because I think they looked over at what Disney was doing, where they had like their major releases, and then they had the direct to VHS, DVD, whatever versions of movies, and they're like, "This is fucking suicide. Like we're taking the pill if we do this." So they decided, no, let's actually really put it in. But it was like in terms of animation, last minute, 1 year till deadline.
Yeah.
And they just crushed their whole fucking team. There are people who had to quit just based on like work stresses, carpal tunnel, like just like working themselves from, I don't know, 67 hours a week to 80, 90 hours a week, trying to put this thing on a good trajectory. And,
well, the other thing, anyway, getting back to the original thing. So the other reason why Disney was ditching 2D was because, as usual, Hollywood doesn't really understand the reason what makes something popular. They see something, they're like, oh, 3D, it's new, it's the new thing, it's the new whatever, right? That's what makes movies. And so that's what Disney did. And they set up their own CG department, and they eventually just gave up and said, well, Pixar's the best, let's just buy Pixar. And I've seen this, I've seen this happen before. This happened like in 2007, 2008, when EA bought out Pandemic Studios and BioWare. There's usually this period where, a big company will buy up smaller companies and just keep acquiring more and more licenses and properties until eventually, like, they've done something wrong or they reach critical mass, and then usually they kind of start to die as a result for some strange reason. It's really weird. I think maybe what we're seeing is yet another iteration of the life cycle of a company. So,
well, I figure it's just like the body becomes too big to keep having the same vitality to it. Like the energy doesn't reach it the same way. And I feel like it's just almost unavoidable at this point. Like I look at, in terms of like you're doing indie comics, like Marvel and DC. Look at what they've done. Like, could you imagine having a bigger advantage over everybody else and then just fucking it all up? And well, in major ways, like it's one thing that you're just putting in this policy, but then it's just like you start to see it grotesque your own legacy characters, sodomizing Superman. Like, who the fuck signed? Like, the amount of people that have to like sign off on this stuff, green light stuff sometimes. Like, I hear of like people who run creative gigs, graphic design, marketing, advertising, and stuff, like where they have something that's genuinely good and it just gets canned and it's gone through like 8 iterations of approval. And it just reaches like the vice president or whoever, the final sign off, and they just like, I don't get it. they don't get it go through. But the bullshit that does make it through, where you just like, this is like, is there a greater legacy character in comics than Superman? In my opinion, no. I think you could stress that there's more profitable or more popular at the moment, but as far as like for all time, the like the head of the, the tip of the spear, the vanguard and the whole thing, the revolutionary force, that was the Superman character. Yeah. And for them to just be like, yeah, we're gonna have Superman sodomized. I was like, what in what world did anyone ever, like, this should have been this, you fucking rewrite this shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pretend like I didn't see it, and if you ever fucking run something across the board like this again, you're done. Yeah. Like, this is just like,
we're never calling you back again.
It's unreal. But back to the Disney thing, I was just saying, like, in that era, it just seemed like, okay, Disney got a new CEO, they acquired Pixar, they done like Frog and the Princess, like they revitalized their 2D thing. I felt like a hope is in the air, or like a revitalization of it. It's sort of like the Apple cycle. Apple was great in the initial stages, was so popular, 80s. Then it sunk. Then it was like they brought back Steve Jobs. They re-released like the iMac. Like it hit the second life.
That's the key ingredient, is like, in order for companies to survive, you need strong leadership.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
There is a severe lack of strong leadership.
No, they're signing up for this stupid bullshit, man. Like, and it's finally
that's a lack of strong leadership. I mean, a strong leader would be able to recognize that this is a very destructive ideology, and it's going too far. And and I talked about this on the Bonderdome. Disney has a very important brand that people have come to expect, and now they're absolutely destroying that brand. They're destroying that legacy as a result, just to appease a very vocal minority who don't reproduce, who want to indoctrinate your kids, and and they're actually, they've scared away and banned talented people that were working there, who were making good stuff, like myself, and they're promoting the people who are actually problems for the company.
And not only that, but just complete like puddles of talent. I mean, like nothing to really draw upon. I see like these posts from people. Now mainly everything in my feeds and stuff is comic oriented. But I see like these people like, oh, this is my variant for Marvel issue this why or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
This comic, and I'm just like, this is mediocre. Like, I mean, it's like kind of like you see the abilities there, but they haven't refined it. And I'm just like, this is getting printed. This is like the cover art is supposed to be like above and beyond, like, you know, kind of like the A grade, at least A grade out, you know, like I'd say platinum standard. It's supposed to fucking sell the thing. And like, I'm like, okay, this would be like goodish fan art, you know, like you kind of got some things down, but it's like, I'm looking at the background and it's just like the cityscape blob, you know, like what the fuck am I looking at? This is just trash.
Laziness. Yeah, it's just,
you know, you could have just traced like a city view shot and it would have looked a shit ton better than what you actually did.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, like this is what they're actually passing off as like what's great. And you know, and then it's also like the hit to your the hit to my ego, at least, you know, like when it's like 3,000 likes or something, you're like, oh, this trash. This trash here.
Well, no, because they're not liking the artwork; they're liking the person behind the artwork.
Yeah,
because those people, oh, you know, they're so brave. They got pronouns. Oh, pronoun thing's such bullshit. So,
but I mean,
bullshit.
And it's such a, you know, wild difference from like the era I like was a kid and I like fell in love with this stuff. Like, I could go to the grocery store, I could go to 7-Eleven, I could go to Walmart, I could go to Kmart when it existed. You know, I could go to basically any store and they had like a comic book rack. Either it was the newsstand section, they actually had a spinner rack, or there was the like going to the mall, you had the comic book retail store, or some strip malls had it too. Like pretty much any town, I would say 50,000, 100,000 people in it. There was like a dedicated like comic book shop. This is the 90s, so I mean it was like kind of peak era for it, and it was just readily available everywhere you went. And now it's like, dude, I can't even find a comic book shop. And I'm not like in a like failing economy section of the world. I'm in the DC Beltway area. Like there is money just spinning around here. We're gonna be the last place to sink. Sorry, it's not fair, but it's just a sad truth of it.
Well, I'll come and live on your couch when everything
goes. Well, I mean, it's not cheap. I mean, I think that's what's killing them. It's just like the leases on these places are just outrageous. But you know, like when I was, you know, I would say 90s, early 2000s, there was at least like half a dozen, you know, within like a 10-mile radius. Now it's like zero. You know, like they're killing off their outlets, and the only thing they have left is really like the Amazon, like either the digital market or the trade paperback collection thing, which is a thing they've been banking on for a while now. But even that's kind of run out because they pissed off the fans.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking Disney, so you said it was well because we really didn't get to like this new thing where I didn't see the whole video. I can't really digest this stuff anymore.
Oh, are you talking about the Daily Wire announcement?
It was some like behind the scenes thing where they had like a
that thing,
the blind or the deaf translator / person talking. There's two women I saw, and they were both giving like their reasons why they're happy that we're able to cater to these diversity stories and stuff. And I'm just like, you're going down for like very niche markets. Like, hit the broad strokes, find like stories people love and resonate with. And,
very anti-Disney, I think.
Like,
that's not Disney's bread and butter. Disney's bread and butter was to appeal to the widest audience possible. That's how they made their money. So the things we've been seeing in comics and video games is now finally hitting the mainstream. So
yeah, I mean, I just feel, at least with comics, you can have someone like yourself, Narwhal or whoever, like these one-man armies. Like, it's a project. It is intensive. Like, I'm not saying it's not going to suck up your time, but it's doable.
It's achievable.
Yeah.
It's
whereas
like
making
animation.
your own, making your own animation, making your own video game, all that. I mean, like, God, you're talking like teams of people and the same, like, pouring your heart out to make it happen.
Yeah. And then you got to try and promote it online and then fail because you're no good promoter because you're too busy trying to make the thing. So
it could come to that, but I feel like it's, as long as you have a standout product, I think you do. I think Narwhal's done a good job, like picking his shots and also delivering. As long as you deliver, word of mouth spreads. So I expect your volume 3 to like be better than the volume 2, and so on and so on.
How disappointed you will be.
Well, you can always give me advanced copy. I was a little like, what is this? You saying like Trish Danfan had an advanced copy of volume 2?
Well,
like,
I sent her a digital advanced copy hoping she would do a review of it to help promote the campaign, which she didn't fucking do, but I can't tell her to do that. So
see, I would do that for you. But I don't know.
But do you have 54,000 followers on your YouTube channel, Lucius?
No.
See, this is the thing, Lucius. I have, believe it or not, I do look at numbers and I have to decide where my energy is best spent. And the great thing is like Trisha's like a great person. I'm actually friends with her, and she's also a fan of my work, which is a bonus. And I cherish our relationship greatly. And part of me is like, I feel bad sort of trying to explode her in the other way. So I can't really say to her, you should make a review of this because I sent you the thing. I can just be like, hey, have an advanced copy, and hope and pray and cross my fingers that maybe she'll be like, you know what, this is so great, I'm going to do a review of it.
All right. Well, all right. I'm not as hurt now.
So that's my thinking behind it, Lucius. Because I don't like telling people how to do things, unless of course it's like I'm paying them or something.
Yeah, totally.
But already everyone's been super kind and very giving of their time, and I just I feel guilty if I ask anything more of them outside of that.
So I had one more thing in the barrel here from looking at Twitter. It's very milquetoast here. Here we go.
Your energy is best spent steaming exclusively to me.
Yeah.
How would I steam? That sounds raunchy. I'm not.
Sauna time. Exclusive. I want you. Yeah, Perth Comics. Thanks for coming in, Perth.
Perth is on the arse end of the world, from what I remember. I think it's like on the west coast.
Still back in the motherland.
Yeah, it's like the most remote place.
Wait,
people who need food, gas prices. That's hilarious.
Yeah, from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's something I one of those shows I've been meaning to watch for a while. I haven't gotten into.
I don't really watch that one. It's just
Hail Perth Comics.
Hello Perth Comics.
We've just been talking about how our childhood influences monuments of our own creativity, inspirations have become fucking rubble and ruins.
I feel like
although I'm all for it.
I feel like we're the generation that's going to be screwed over the most. You know?
Potentially. I'm amazed at just how fast some of this stuff is like crumbled together. It's been like a repeat of the 20th century, like the Great Depression, the Roaring 20s, all this shit is like kind of like being like condensed down into this new like shit diamond that we're dealing with right now.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's because of the internet now. Everything runs faster now because
yeah, absolutely. But I was thinking, I thought something like this would happen down the road, but I thought I'd be at least in my 50s by the time it was going down. I mean, I couldn't have guessed that 5 years ago we'd be where we're at now.
I kind of had an inkling ever since the 2008 crash that in the next 10 years some shit was going to go down.
There's always a cycle.
Yeah, it's always a 10-year kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. But I never thought we'd be talking about the shit we're talking about and letting shit go. I started out the show with the SpongeBob Will Smith Chris Rock slap.
That is that thing. I can't believe how much so many people have fallen for that bullshit. It's like totally a WWE move.
You think so?
Worked. Oh, totally. Okay. Totally. When you look just the way everything was set up, when Will Smith was walking up and Chris Rock's just like standing there laughing.
I don't know. I felt like, especially the fact that his hands are behind his back and he never makes a move. Like, you know how hard that is? Like, if you fully know someone's about to hit you in the fucking face.
Yeah, dude. Like, a normal person would be like backing away, being like,
no, I think he just thought it was just going to be like a funny bit. Like, oh, here's a fellow comedian. He's coming up. Like, this is the Oscars. There's no fucking chance in hell he's going to fucking do anything.
The thing you got to understand is nobody's watching the Oscars anymore, Lucius. It's done.
Oh, I know, but
the same thing. And so they use the thing is Will Smith is like the master of memes, right? Like anything he does becomes a meme almost. Like remember that oh, that's hot as he's looking through those binoculars. Remember that meme?
No, I don't remember that meme.
Yeah, no, that's totally a meme that was for the YouTube Rewind, right? Where he's like, YouTube Rewind, and he like looks in like these binoculars.
It's just weird because I would say this is like totally against his entire character. Like he's been the guy who's that clean rap. Like
there's that perfectly timed photo of him as he's slapping Chris Rock and Chris's head is turning right from up above. It's totally on purpose. Trying to use the power of viral whatever you call it, virality on the internet and meme culture is kind of interplayed with that to try and make people talk about the Oscars.
It's very possible. I found it really weird.
It's worked. Everyone's continuously talking about this.
Yeah, now. In a way, but it's all they're talking about. The actual show themselves, no one gives a shit. Like it's really just about Will Smith and like the fact he walked up, slapped the guy, sat down, and got an award later on. Like it's kind of nuts when you think about it. There was a Joe Rogan clip I saw earlier today where he was going over it with some I don't know who his guest was, where they were talking about it, and Joe Rogan was trying to break it down. He's like, this guy like I think he lives in such a fantasy land. Like he believed in it. Like I feel like he thought he was in a movie role, going up there and hitting them. And the thing that I'm curious about is just like how closely they actually track that entire interaction. Like your point that it's WWE. I'm like, why didn't they just fucking cut away? Why didn't they just because there is like a delay feed, and I know
people are drawn to drama, people are drawn to controversy, right?
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
the old gossip mags, right? But now the gossip mags have all gone defunct because nobody's reading physical media; it's all digital now. So this is how they're doing it.
I did feel like Chris Rock for a moment was ready to like throw back, and then he's like, wait, this is an award show. I don't know what just happened. I feel like he's completely sidetracked.
Wrong.
All right. I'm on the
remember after he was done, what did Chris Rock say?
I just got slapped. Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me. Then there was the whole back and forth when they sat down, keep my wife's name in your mouth. And he's
then
like,
what was the next
okay,
thing?
I will. And
no, the next thing. What was the next thing he said?
The next thing after that? It was just a G.I. Jane joke.
No. Not that.
Are you gonna have to tell me what you're talking about? Because that's I've only seen the.
He said this is the great. He said this is.
Oh, this is the greatest show. Yeah.
The greatest moment in whatever
television history or something.
Television history. Yeah. That's what he fucking said. It was all staged.
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't know what to say.
The thing is, these people, their job is to lie, right? It's to create spectacle. That's their job. That's what actors are. They lie to the audience to suspend disbelief.
This is kind of the crazy time we're in, because I would say I'm more skeptical of everything I see out of Ukraine-Russia deal right now, like, and the news surrounding it. I'm just like, there's fakeness on both sides. I don't even know what to believe anymore. Well,
that's the thing now. Like, this is all designed to completely discombobulate you and confuse you. We talked about it, I think, on the last stream, to make you forget about a certain somebody with a certain island that had paintings of a certain president.
Oh, not only that, but I mean, dude, it's multiple things. It's this fucking laptop. They suddenly,
but it doesn't work.
Legitimize.
It's not. None of it is working now because of the internet. Like,
the shit on that thing too. I'm just dude. I can't believe what they had on it. Like, I knew there was some stuff.
Like,
but
I saw like a little snippet of one, and I was just like, oh.
I was just like, how are they not strung up? Like if this was old days, man, Tarred and Feathered wouldn't have even covered that.
But this is all designed to wear you down and make you not give a shit. And then when it does come out, when it finally all comes out, everyone's like, yeah, whatever.
I'm cheering for the burn down, man. I'm waiting for it all to
I want it all to burn down as well. Like, they've been doing this for way too long, and I want to see it all crumble before.
They've been up to me because I just thought, of thinking it was real. All right, let's take out the argument out of it, whether it's not. But thinking it was real was like, of everything he could have done, that was probably as gentlemanly as he could have done it. Like, if it was truly defending his wife's honor or whatever, it was just a slap. And that was it. It wasn't more than that. And he just kind of turned around and walked away. In standards of modern society, it's out of place.
The other thing is, you got to understand that, like, people are suffering from the monkey C virus right now. Do you know about the monkey C virus?
Tell me about it.
Monkey see, monkey do.
So
if they're seeing a well-known celebrity like Will Smith, who people idolize, go up to a comedian who makes a joke, a pretty tame joke, by the way, and slap him, what do you think? What do you think people are going to do who are suffering from the monkey C virus?
That was something Joe Rogan was talking about. Like, it's setting the precedent where it's like, what? So anytime you don't like what a joke a comedian cracks, like, you can just walk up on stage and start like abusing them. Potentially that. I was just thinking they should bring back dueling.
I totally agree with that. Let's totally agree.
Yeah, with that. 10 paces.
I think we've talked about that. No, just like boxing or something. Nothing lethal.
Oh well, I mean, I'm willing to go that far. Like, I just think there's a lot of bullshit going down, and a lot of bullshit would be settled if it was just like, okay, you want to go this far? let's go.
Let's settle it properly. Yeah. And you know what else we should do? We should make it where it's non-gender specific. So if you want to challenge a woman to it, if she thinks she's equal to you, by all means, let's do it.
Like, one of these, I saw on Twitter, someone had recirculated the clip of the woman that was on a flight and freaked out on a guy who was wearing a Trump shirt, next to her, and like just freaking out and giving him shit. And while they're like loading up the plane, this is pre-COVID days and all that.
Yeah.
And he's just recording it, like, for posterity, like, not saying a fucking thing, just staring in the like middle ground distance ahead of him while she's doing all this shit, and not feeding her anymore. This is just all on her own volition, all on her own energy, what she's doing. And then, like, the flight staff are just like, yeah, you got to leave the plane. And she's like, well, it's my husband's going to a funeral and blah, 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 blah. Like, all excuses come out. You know, like, no, I don't want to get kicked off the plane. I'll just shut up now. And it's just like, no, you don't understand. The captain said, you're leaving the plane. You're leaving the plane. And like it's like a whole thing where like eventually you have to get like the police coming out. I figure at that point, like it's just kind of like you're under arrest. Like if they have to drag you off a plane, you're willingly resisting their policies. I'm kind of like, yeah, charges should at least be filed at the point. I know most places don't want the like
paperwork.
That. Yeah, like the bullshit of it, but it's just at the same time, it's like, you know, how many other people will go through this and waste your time, waste your energy. It's a hell of a thing that someone like that ties up like that zone for that long and shit.
Well, yeah, we allow it.
Yeah,
we allow it. Those people should be bitch slapped. Those are the ones who need to get bitch slapped.
There should at least be like a fine of like, you know, you held up, you know, 120 passengers plus all these other flights. That's like a $10,000 fine. Like people would stop pulling that shit. You know, just like for what?
Yeah,
like
you're talking about deterrence, and I agree with you.
Yeah. And we've lost like kind of all sight of that.
And the same thing should go for internet brigading mobs, even if it's children. Same thing. There needs to be some kind of deterrent where you can charge all of them for participating for online harassment. And because most of them think that, you know, I can just join in on the fucking dogpiling and nothing will happen. Whereas
it's a little bit tricky, but yeah, I'm with you. I feel like that's kind of where the root of some things kind of went down. I feel like this whole
like I should be able to shit post as much as I want and not have to be dogpiled for it. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of free speech all the way. Like for everything that would bring upon, which is awful. But at the same time, I feel like, don't people have enough of a filter for themselves? Can't you decide for yourself?
Yes.
What you can and can't hear?
Yes.
Do you need an authority to tell you this?
Yeah. Do you need someone, some parental figure there standing over your shoulder going, I'm going to make sure that I block all the things that are going to upset you, right? They need, like, these people have no agency, and it's absolutely pathetic.
Well, it's sad is that I know, like, I mean, some of these people were like friends of mine, family of mine, you know, who've bought into like the bullshit. And it's just like there's enough. It's the whole like fallacy of authority or whatever. It's like enough people like weigh in on it. There's enough momentum behind it, and that's enough for them to be convinced that it's true. And I can't tell you how many like arguments happen and like how many people like their vision of me is faded because I've just been like, well, show me the proof, show me something. Like I'm not even challenging you on your claim. I just want your like data to back it up. Where is it?
And they get mad.
And how many people just get defensive and say, I don't have the time for you. I don't have the time for you.
It's like, dude, you've got a phone that can access all the knowledge in the world at the touch of a button. And you don't know how to use it all of a sudden? You all of a sudden got really stupid?
Yeah, well, and the amount of times I'm just like, let me just Google it real quick. I'll pull it right up for you and show you my info.
And they don't want to see it.
Yeah, it's basically ignoring it or figuring. And like, again, I don't know how much this is bullshit, but it's just like, how much of it just was like on its face, seemingly obvious.
Yeah.
It's crime of the century stuff that's happening. Like I say, like history, it seems like history's rhyming. Like the 20th century, like the teapot dome scandal shit, where elites are basically rigging the whole thing against you. It's just a new form of slavery. You're in the Matrix, and what's worse is that they convince you that the Matrix is good. There's people who suggest like the thing the Matrix got wrong is that you could actually convince people to go into the Matrix. You didn't have to like look at the outside world that they have. Like, would it be that hard to sell to be like, hey, we can plug you into an idealized version of society from the 90s. We just gonna suck your life juices out, but you can live out a full life without knowing it. You know, and like what was his name? Cypher? Was that the character that betrayed them and everything?
Oh yeah, he totally did that. Yeah.
It's a totally legitimate point to have. I mean, it was fucked up what he did, but you know, he had a point. Like, would you have taken the same deal if you knew the truth? Like it's kind of. I think Morpheus could have told him, you know, up front. But yeah, I mean, it's a great fucking movie. I think that's one of the like great movies of all time. It fueled the success of everything that came after it. That's how good The Matrix was.
It was our Matrix.
Yeah,
The Matrix was our Matrix.
But it's just sad because you know, like people would just sign up for it. They just dive right in, like it's happening in real time in front of us, where they've just dialed in and said, "Yep, we're part of the system all the way."
Yeah, you're talking about. Are you talking about VR chat?
VR chat? No, I'm just talking about like basically everything the mainstream media puts out. You're ready to be wholesale on board for it.
Oh.
I remember, dude, this was Obama talking in election primaries or debates where he's just like, the 80s are calling one in your foreign policy back when they were talking about like Russia or something like that. Like it was like, this is like Russia's not the big evil anymore. This is Obama era. Now we're back to they're the biggest evil on earth. They rigged our last election.
Yeah.
It's just like, how powerful are they? It's crazy to hear like now everyone's a Nazi. Like I thought we ended that World War II. Like they're pretty much, if they weren't on the run, they were dead. Like we wiped them out. But it's like every side has Nazis hidden in it, and they're all like running the show. I'm just
there
like,
secret Hitlers everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy, and not only that, but it's like the fact that they're comparing Putin to Hitler. It's like we have Stalin. There's this other guy there. Yeah,
well, no one understands who Stalin is, but everyone understands Hitler, the world's greatest villain. You like that guy? Yeah, everything's going to shit. Oh well.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, and I usually don't get into this stuff. I can't find anyone to like even entertain my conversation around me.
I feel you. Like, yeah, I when I was in the animation industry, yeah, there were a lot of guys like that who were just mindlessly just consumed whatever was fed to them, spoon fed to them, and I would just like look at them like, what the hell? And they would say something completely fake, and and I would say something contrary, and they'd be like, what are you talking about? That's not right. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, look it up, and they'd be like, there'd be like this look of surprise on their face for like a minute, and then they go, oh well, then they just dismiss it. Like it was bizarre to watch, really, really fucking bizarre. Like I don't talk to those people anymore because it's like it's pointless now. It's totally pointless. Like there's nothing you can do because you cannot reason them out of their position because they were never reasoned into it in the first place.
No. Yeah, it's just like blind mice being led by, the Pied Piper.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what? Yeah, they've all taken their vaccines. They've all taken their boosters. I say, let them do it.
Dude, they're still doing that shit. I can't believe
they are. Even
like...
after the Pfizer documents came out, they're still doing it. And now you just look, if they ever give you shit, you say, look, have you taken your 4th booster yet, mate? That's what you say.
I don't know how often you get out. I don't get out really that much, but like
me
anymore,
neither.
Like when I do, like I don't even bother making sure I have a mask with me anymore.
Yeah.
Like unless I'm going to the only places
that all ended overnight. Remember?
Seemingly, yeah. I don't remember other than like I know like when I go to my dentist, they have a thing for it. Like some medical places have it or whatever. I can sort of understand it even like because it's like you are bringing in actual sick. Like it sort of makes sense in that. But
sure.
The amount of people like I just went out before the show, grabbed some drinks and stuff, and as I go in, there's like a couple people going out with masks. I'm like, really? Like I'm just like, really?
Yeah, dude, it becomes a habit, and it makes them feel safe, even though it doesn't do shit. So,
but largely, I would say it's flipped the other way. At least, like it used to be, like if you weren't wearing a mask, you were like the 1 out of 10, the 1 out of 20. Now it feels like at least it's on the other side, other than the employees, and I'm just like, oh, God, that fucking sucks, man. I was trapped by that, and it sucks being 8 hours.
Oh yeah,
at a place with the fucking thing on your face like that.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I feel for them totally. But the thing is, like, I mean, wearing masks isn't new. Like in a lot of Asian countries, like obviously Japan, if you got a cold, you put on the mask so you don't spread germs, right? And so
right.
they're
They're an entire.
thing.
Sorry, they're an entire different mindset. I mean, like they have a whole like shoe thing. Like that's major. Like they have exclusively like Japanese restaurants and stuff. Like if you're a tourist, you're not allowed in.
Oh yeah,
kind of thing, because they have their culture, like they're very like
strict. They're very strict.
So it's like
rules.
We go into a restaurant, like you keep the same footwear on. No, you go there, like you're supposed to like take off your shoes, put on either like a pair of slippers or something like that. Like it's kind of like a whole different thing. Yeah.
I wonder if they got a pair of Crocs. You just wear a pair of Crocs.
Potentially, but I know like that's a thing. You'll see it in like in some of the animes and stuff like that, where like they have like literally a foot or shoe locker, like where they go into the school and they put on new shoes or whatever. Like it's a thing over there, but it's not really with us. Just like I remember seeing it more with the SARS outbreak, 2000, early 2000s, somewhere 2002, 3, like where the mask thing was like way more prevalent, and it was like basically like a COVID before COVID thing. Like they've always been looking for this thing to happen.
It was the test run for COVID.
Yeah. And I at that time, like, I was watching the news, and of course this is, pre-broadband internet being, readily available everywhere, 3G, 4G, 5G, like you were stuck with your fucking nightly news, daily news. And you're just like, holy shit, bird flu. West Nile virus and SARS. You're just like, oh shit, because this was like one of those looming things, just like global warming was, hole in the ozone layer was.
Well, that's the thing, Lucius. That hole in the ozone layer. You know where that hole was, right?
Wasn't it right over Australia, Antarctica?
Yeah,
kind of area?
Exactly. Yeah. And our skin cancer rates like shot up, and so they.
I'm not saying it wasn't real, but they were claiming this was like end of the.
It's one of the Diaz bros. Hey,
eyes on us.
Which
How
one?
you doing? Hopefully both.
Which Diaz brother?
Hopefully both.
Both at the same, double teaming our stream.
Yeah, that would be great. Blue Brothers action. So shit, I forget. They talked about this stuff back then, like being the end of the world, and like they took all these desperate measures, and eventually, the ozone layer kind of fixed itself up, stitched itself up.
Well, that was actually what people actually did. Everyone did actually work together to stop that, but it was everything after that where they tried to use was it climate alarmism? I cannot speak. Climate alarmism.
Yeah, Green New Deal, all that shit. Like that's what they're pushing.
But I mean,
now
that started
environmentalism.
Extreme environmentalism that got pushed. It's just another cudgel to get people to give away what they've earned and give
absolutely
to the rich. It's terrible.
Well, it's a reason to kill people, basically.
Oh god. Yeah.
I mean, that's the end. Like, if you look at it, what's their premise? Humanity has caused the worst environmental disasters.
Yeah, it's almost like a death cult.
It is, in a way. Like, if you follow it through all the way. I'm not saying they don't have a point. Like, it's like, people could do better to like realize they're part of an ecosystem, and
sure
they have a responsibility to it. But this
not
whole
the way
notion
to
of like, well. I can't tell you how many times I've heard it, like from somebody, like the world would be better off if we weren't in it. Like it would just be like, it would be this perfect. And it's like, have you watched nature documentaries? Do you know how vicious this life is? Like, watch Naked and Afraid. These 21-day things where it's just like, watch these people get torn apart. Left to their like they have all the knowledge in the world. They're given one survival tool, maybe more. Like they have like the handicapped ones, where they're fans or whatever, and they give them little extras.
It's a pity that none of those survival tools were a pair of pants.
Well, sometimes they have there was one dude who brought like duct tape, and like his teammate was like, "What the fuck, duct tape?" And then she ended up making a bra and like underwear for herself,
That must
gloves,
be
like shoes.
incredibly uncomfortable.
Well, it might be, but dude, like it's just like how are you gonna find all this out in the wild versus like you can just fold up duct tape and make this like barrier for yourself and stuff. Like it, like she like you should if you saw her initial reaction, she's like, oh fuck, this guy the guy got booted early on, but she actually made use of that shit. There's stuff where you're just like, really, that's what you brought, but then they'll like make wonders out of it. Some guy brought like string or rope and was able to make multiple tools and like it's just like the fastener to multiple things, like where you can make your own shoes or whatever the fuck. Like it's something like shoes are like life changing in that scenario where it's just like you have to worry about stepping on a thorn and being taken out because it gets infected. But it should show you like, okay, you want to live the green life. That's the green life. Do you really want to live it? How many of you will sacrifice your comforts for what you're proposing?
I feel like if you know, if I feel like realistically, if there weren't any cameras and it was like a guy and a girl being naked in the forest, I think it'd just be lots of sex.
Potentially, I feel like there is a tension.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, we're both naked, so you want to bang?
There's even beyond that, just like in some of these places, like they have nothing as in terms of shelter or warmth, and like yeah, you'd want to huddle up to, but beyond just like sexual desire, like it's just like I just don't want to be fucking freezing my ass off. Like if you're butt naked in a 60-degree environment, I'm telling you, you're gonna be shivering fucking cold.
Oh, totally.
So like it even like challenges that. There's been like episodes where like guy and girl like bedding together to like keep body warmth, but he's like keeping a distance because he's married or whatever, and like he's like, don't get close to me or whatever. Like they have that happen. There are like sexual tensions if you watch those shows like that happen. I don't think anyone's ever banged on it. Because
I'm sure they have. They just edited it out.
Maybe, but I think they would at least like Jerry Springer like sort of preview it out, like never actually show it, but give you all the like lead up or something if that happened.
And then cue the saxophone.
I just find them fucking crazy, man. Like I'm just like, you watch these people, I'm like, who the fuck would like, this is your idea of like how you want to prove yourself? Can't you just do that on like go out into the wilderness on your own and try it out? Like you don't need to be filmed.
They want to be rich from it.
And they did a recent episode too, where there was a male to female trans person on it.
Oh,
so it was like it's usually a dude and girl that go onto it, right?
Yeah.
For everything you talk about, and all that. Well, this was one where like it was a dude becoming a woman and a dude. They meet up and still has all the original plumbing.
Oh wow.
On the MTF, and it's kind of like, do you have any questions? And he's just like, no. Like it's just like I think he was completely dumbfounded because he truly expected a woman, because that's the way the show's always been. Everything
expecting to see some free
and it's being recorded and all this, and you're just like, and at the same time it's just like, oh my god, like what the fuck, like what have I signed up for? I'd be completely in that realm. I would just be like, I don't know, that is like a point of like, I can't go along with that.
Well, here's a theoretical for you, Lucius. Like, what if it was the inverse, where you're naked and abducted by aliens, and you wake up in like a white, featureless room with another member who is also naked of the opposite sex?
I mean, I would find. I mean, in that circumstance, I'd just find comfort in the fact that there's a human being there with me.
Oh,
there'd be that.
So no banging. You went like, let's give these aliens a show,
Maybe not. I mean, I remember watching. I feel like it was one of the modernized Twilight Zone episodes where AIs kind of took control of everything, and humans were basically the manual labor to keep their systems functioning, repair, and all that. Yeah. But they always needed new humans, so like they literally like hook up like one maintenance person with another one. Like they just meet up, and it's just like, yeah, the computer's basically like saying like you need to do this, and yet like it was
the
almost
romance.
it wasn't like a hard sell, because like ultimately it's all like ingrained in your biochemistry anyway or whatever. But the whole situation was they actually do fall in love. They do like have a connection because they'd never known humans outside of themselves really. And then like what they do after, I forget how it ends. Something like maybe they take control of the ship, like they both team up to malfunction it or something, or maybe they get separated, and it's like one of those things where like like he impregnated her and now they separate, and that's the Twilight Zone or whatever. I remember seeing something like that going on with it. So like I wouldn't like, I'm sure there would be some mechanism for that, but I think initially I would just be relieved that I'm not like in this horror show like all by myself, like because it's just like it would be the worst things imaginable. Like what am I just like a specimen to slice up? Like what the fuck is my existence going forward? And like you take comfort at least in knowing that there's another
probing
person,
a probing thing, something to be probed.
Yeah. The show that I was watching, what the fuck was it? The Last Kingdom. Sort of got into this in a way, but it was more about cultures. So it was the main guy, Udrith or something like that, and he was a child prisoner basically. His father went off to fight a war, died in the battle, and he was supposed to be the inheritor of his estate, battlement grounds, but he went off to fight to try to save him, be a part of the action, and then he just gets captured, and he gets captured with some other girl from his own like settlement that was out there or something. And they're both basically like the only prisoners, but they're both children too, so they like kind of take comfort in each other, like just like presence, and like there's no like sexual thing then. There grows to be sexual tension later on for them, but it's like an element where like they're literally like in the halls of like the Dane invaders of England, and they just kind of like cling to each other to get through like the first night, weeks or whatever to come, like where they're basically slaves to their conquerors, the new conquerors of the land. So like I think that's where I would go in your hypothetical situation.
Yes,
that would probably at least
severely lacks aliens.
Yeah.
But I an idea for a TV title just came into my head. It would be called Probed and Alone.
Yeah, I mean, if you can make it happen, I'm sure they would have done it like as a reality series.
It's like the ultimate prank where you like kidnap people, strip them naked, and put them under like anesthetic, right? So they fall asleep, and then transport them to like this featureless white room and put a few blinking lights in like the walls or some shit. And then they wake up and they're like, "Oh, we've been abducted by aliens."
That might be Epstein Island.
Yeah, probably. And then you give them a bunch of like logical puzzles to solve, and if they solve them, then it's revealed, oh, it was all a prank, guys. They're like, you kidnapped us, you fuckers.
You got me. You got
me. Oh, you.
What was that Michael Douglas movie? You've seen it, right? Where like he gets abducted and he's dragged out to like Mexico, some Central South American country.
Was that the one where his brother? It's all like a show.
Yeah. Like the end of it is him like crashing through like
the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
I forget the name, but I know the one you're talking about. It's like
his
brother's like, oh, I bought you a present. Yeah, the game. That's it. Yeah, the game.
Yeah, that's what kind of what you're sort of talking about, and that was like one like I watched that I watched that with my dad, and like by the end I'm just like, what the fuck did we just watch? Like just like
there's the bit when he's on the roof and like the door's being banged and they're saying, oh no, they're gonna come through the door, and it's all a big surprise, and he's not believing any of it, but like he's he does come through, and like he shoots the gun and he thinks he's killed his brother, but it was all also a part of the whole thing, the whole facade to make him jump through the window because there's like a bed, what do you call it, like a thing waiting for him to land on.
Landing pad.
Excuse me.
Air mattress thing, whatever.
Sorry, it's the spring thing.
Dude, you got some violent sneeze action, man.
Yeah, it happens at least 2 times a day, just because it's like the pollen or whatever. But it's not as bad as how I used to have it.
I dig it though, man. Like you're not like a. There's some people I'm just like, that's your sneeze. Like you got some.
No, me and my dad were violent sneezers. We're getting that shit out of there no matter what. Thank you. Yeah. I didn't have time to mute.
Scissors with the runs.
Runs with the scissors, I'm assuming.
There was a Runs with Scissors account. I'm thinking maybe it's them. Just you know.
So
sometimes YouTube catches up with us, you know. We gotta make a new account or something. What do you feel like there's a future on YouTube? Like I wonder.
I'm not so sure anymore, you know.
Me too. I'm thinking maybe
Rumble.
What if we were like the first ones over at Odyssey and just start trying to
I think Rumble. I think Rumble's the place.
Rumble's the way to go?
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it. I haven't seen a Rumble yet.
Well, they've got a lot of investment right now. I know Trump's gone into it. Rumble bought out locals as well, so they're implementing locals also. So maybe Rumble's the way to go. I just wish they would come up with better fucking names for their platforms.
Yes. Although
Odyssey is actually an okay name now that I think about it.
I'm not Rumble with Scissors. Okay. Scissors with the Runs is not. Clarification.
All right.
Has been issued. But yeah, YouTube is not even like necessarily like a great platform name. It was just like the first. It was the one. It was the
it's like Coke, right? Like when people think of soft drink, they say get me a Coke, even if they mean something else, right?
It could be, yeah. Coca-Cola was the original thing, although it still had cocaine mixed in with it. Those were the good old days, man.
Yes,
like
where you could drink cocaine. Yes,
you could. Yeah, it was crazy. You could buy like fucking heroin and I think morphine like right off the shelf.
Yeah,
if you
baby.
wanted to.
Fuck like, yeah, we need a time machine, motherfuckers.
It's
go back in time and buy some heroin and morphine and cocaine.
Yeah. It was like legit. Like you need painkillers. Here it is. Buy
Here
it for yourself.
Is. Start snorting that shit, motherfuckers.
And then the government has to step in and just fuck it all up.
Ruin it for everybody. No more cocaine for you guys. You're having too much fun. We're gonna keep all the cocaine for ourselves now. Yeah, thanks a lot, you fucking party pooper. I feel like the olden times was just like a massive rave party, you know.
I mean, it was just an iteration of things. Like I remember, I could probably get salvia, no problem, you know. 10, 15 years ago. And then it's like, oh, they didn't know this was supposed to be a controlled substance, whatever. And I mean, it's constantly that like they come up with something that's not been controlled substance. It'll be controlled soon enough. And there's like the chemical ones too. Like what I think became bath salts. Where, you know, essentially it's like supposed to be like fake weed or fake this or that. And just people get really, really fucked up on it because it's all chemical engineered stuff.
Hey,
and
what's
then they chew somebody's face off.
Which is the more authentic version? Is it CBD or THC?
I feel like CBD is probably like the old truth thing. We've been, I feel like we've been selecting for higher THC counts. Like it was always there, but that was something like that's giving people more of the high feeling.
So so THC is the synthetic?
No, it's all natural occurring. But THC is the one that like gives you the high. Like it's the thing that like makes you spacey. The CBD is kind of, I think, more of like just a relaxing sort of thing.
Huh.
And I've heard that the strains of weed, like what's now modern weed, is like nothing like what was like the hippie weed.
Yeah.
Like they've been like constantly upping that THC count by the breeding and pollinization, like
Oh,
what
like
they
a
pull for the next.
selective breeding for
Yeah,
each crop.
yeah. So it's natural, but they're pulling. It's just like all of our other crops. Like if you had like fucking the corn, the like Mayans ate, you'd be like, this is shit. What we eat is like sweet corn. Like it has been like selected to be like tasty, even though in terms of tastiness, it's not like the tastiest thing out there. But
same with bananas.
Yeah, you get one of the true blue, like old versions of it. It's what they feed a lot of livestock. Like my dad grew up on a farm, and obviously like the corn cobs they'd feed, and like is multicolored. It's like the true corn.
Yeah.
And I never tasted it myself. It was all just fed to like the cows and horses that they had there. But that shit, like I've tried some other kind of corn. I was just like, oh my god, there's like no flavor at all.
Oh
like,
yeah.
It's unbelievable, like how wide a difference there is from the actual natural growing element to what we've cultivated. So I think it's the same thing with marijuana, probably. Like it was still a stimulant, it was still something that gave people that high, but dude, what you get now, like the content you can get out of
I'm fine with it.
a plant.
Yeah, I'm fine with the content these days. I can handle it. It's not gonna kill me, So.
No, it won't kill you. Absolutely not.
Well, it's not. It's not going to put me into like some kind of panic attack or whatever that some people get.
Yeah, there's those funny calls. I remember one where it was like a policeman who had basically absconded with like evidence.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And
called
he's like,
the state, like called his own like or called the police on himself and his girlfriend, like being like, we're gonna die. Yeah,
everything's really slow.
We're gonna die. I was like, oh my god, how fucking what an embarrassing way to go.
Yeah, I remember that.
To lose your career and everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Ooh. Anyway, was there anything else, Lucius?
Honestly, no. I'm almost at the end of my drink that I had for the night.
Okay. I'm ready to hit the hay, but we can. If you got any more questions about anything else,
I guess is the Forsaken Gods Volume 3? Is that your next project? Do you have anything else lined up? So that is the next project.
Well, yeah, that is the next one. Just because it's mostly written, and I've actually written chapter 4 as well. That's all written also.
Now, written like as far as like the entire thing is like page by page written?
Yes.
Written?
So when I write, I think I've talked about this before. When I write things, I usually do it as I'm writing, as I'm thumbing it out on paper.
Okay. No, I actually think that's the way to go. Like if you're gonna make a comic book, you got to make it true to its format. Like you can't just write it out. I guess some people have that talent where they can just write out like entirely by word panels and everything like that. But for me, like when I think about how I'm gonna approach it, like I'm literally just doing like basically a rough draft of the comic, like stick characters and dialogue and stuff, but making sure like it has a flow and all that.
Great, you're just jamming.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is chapter 3 is 80 something pages, but chapter 4 is 40 something pages.
All right. So are you looking at splitting up chapter 3 into chapter 4 or what? What's the deal?
I'm thinking I'll put them together and that'll be volume 2.
So you're not even going to bother with the book 3, book 4, just a volume 2?
Yeah.
I think you do book 3, book 4. I think you could do a teaser and then a prelude.
Prelude.
You and I, we talked about All-Star Superman. And if you remember the first issue, it was also like Superman gets overdosed by the sun. He's now basically a terminal like sun overdose. And they had like a extra bit at the end where it's like afterword or epilogue or whatever. And basically it was him revealing to Lois Lane that he was Superman. Like he knows he's gonna die, and he's like, oh, I got so much time left. I've kept this secret from her this whole time, and like you're just like, whoa, like man, like because the All-Star Superman line had not been really, like it's only fleshing out itself. There's no precursor or anything else to it. It's sort of tying in all the main elements of Superman as we know him and making its own story out of that. And so what that did was, I mean, okay, Superman's going to die in this story, and there's never any turn back from that. His cells are exploding. He's had solar overdose. He's going to die. And at the end of issue 1, they have this epilogue scene of him revealing his identity. He's like, oh shit, okay, cool. And then they spend like the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 pages on the next issue where Lois Lane is like, I don't believe you.
Yeah,
like it's just like a cruel trick you're pulling on me again. Like I've tried to prove this in the past. Like, and like the great thing about the whole All-Star Superman line is like there's so many homages and like throwbacks to actual issues and stuff and things that happened. So it's like, yeah, she actually did have that inkling, but he proved her wrong, and now she thinks it's just another trick of his to do. Now, I'm not saying you have the same leeway on your Forsaken Gods, but like you could do that thing.
Clearly, Skull Knight has to prove to Samara that he's been her brother this whole time, and she's like, "I don't believe you."
But you could do something like that where it's like sort of like it's not necessarily central to the main story that you're telling, but it feeds into the storyline and you add more to one and the other, splitting it apart. I don't know if you could do that or not.
I don't know how I could do that.
And I'm also not one for like, if you already made a story up, don't sacrifice what you've done. You know.
Well, that was the other thing I was thinking about rewriting chapter 3.
I mean, you might. I don't know how far you got on it because you are already showing me like all your, like you're starting to tie down the pages and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
like,
I mean, I haven't tied it down enough to the point where I can still like rewrite it if I want to. I just don't know if I should.
But based off of what you showed me from the stream the other night, what you showed me before, I feel like from this third one, I'm expecting a lot more backstory laid out that maybe doesn't tie up all the things, but it's feeding into it more and more.
Well, I mean, yeah, everything feeds into it. It's just I kind of want to make it cooler, you know, like like, oh, sweet, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'll send you a
advanced copy,
a rough copy. Who
knows? But I would also maybe suggest, I don't know how far up your alley it is, as someone who devoted way too much time to Elden Ring, playing through it and stuff. You know, I was telling you with your Dire Panther thing. Like, there's a number of things like where the story in the Elden Ring game isn't told through necessarily all cinematics or anything like that. Like you actually have to explore, you have to pick up shit, and then it'll be in the description
pick up the volumes and read them. And,
like
I get that. Yeah.
Like I think there's something where you could like flesh out little bit by little bit, you know, and leave stuff that's just in the background, like it's not even explicitly said. You're using the background elements to kind of tell the story for you. There's a number of those things where like in the game you have these you reach a basically magician academy thing, and they have like these portraits on the wall, and part of the helmet series you can get if you explore out are the same heads that like they match the bust of those people, and like those are like, it all feeds into itself like in its own way. Iron Giant was a great movie where like they used like, not everything was necessarily said, you know, there was like the picture of his dad and pilot World War II gear but you never saw the dad the entire time in the course of the movie. Like it just was like you could tie it all together yourself, like what happened, why he doesn't have a father, sort of thing, like using your background elements to sort of help tell the story for you.
Nah, fuck that shit.
No,
I'm gonna explicitly spell out everything for everyone.
Yeah, please do, and like
because it's cooler that way, and you'll be like, "Whoa, now I understand all of it," and then I won't get any of these fucking annoying questions saying, "Is this what this is?"
Well, you can ignore the questions, but yeah, you could do it like baby's first Nintendo game, where they like highlight and underline every key thing.
Baby's first Dark Souls, guys. Yeah.
Oh, it could be like I feel like Dark Souls a like a number of these things, like you have to like go into like the depths of hell, video game hell, to try to get them. But anymore, just because you have a whole team of people who will just do it for you, and there's people who just watch videos to know the lore or explore it out. Like there's people who tie all the ends up, versus like the ones who just do it for themselves. But like you provide an experience for people who do the extra step. Watchmen was great for that, like all the background things they had going on and their stories.
Yeah, but those guys were crazy.
They were, but I feel like you can be crazy too.
My crazy days are over.
Bring back some crazy, man. Tap into the crazy again.
I'm too old to get crazy.
But, all right, yeah, I didn't plan on going too long tonight, and
me neither.
shot through everything I had.
I'm still trying to recover from.
Good for you,
fucking
man.
Monday night. Holy shit.
So, anything else before we head out? You want to touch upon?
My sleep schedule's slowly getting back on track again. But I sent Zach the artwork for the trading card for the first 100 backers.
Nice.
So he's going to print those out. I got basically the first round of t-shirts ordered, and they're going to Zach. They're going to be there, I think, on the 1st.
Now, one of the things I do want to ask you about, you have all your ink add-on extras sold out, right? The 20?
Yeah, 20 of them, yeah.
Yeah, so if people want to get in contact and let you know what they want you to draw
I will be getting in contact with them.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll be doing that soon. And hopefully we're going to turn this thing around super quick. I think April, May, early June by the latest, hopefully.
Dude, I mean, we're pretty much right at April as is. So
yeah. So here we go. This is the test. This is going to see how well we can do it with everything practically done. So
nice. Well, thanks for being on, and
thank you
everyone who came into the chat. Perth Comics, 8 Comics, Scissors with the Runs. Appreciate all y'all stepping in and dropping some lines for us. It usually doesn't happen, and this was like probably one of the most like unorchestrated. Like we went all about the place on tonight's
Well, I
stream.
mean, that's generally how it is. But I did want to ask you, Lucius, how did you enjoy your time on the closeout stream?
I really, well, I was drinking. I always have like an energy spike when I drink. It kind of works for me. Rewatching it, I was kind of like, man, how many times did I ask people about what do they think about their new campaign versus the old campaign?
Sure.
And everything like that, but they also were kind of broken up. Like you'd hear from Vaughn, and then it would jump over to so and so, and then like the third person would forget or whatever. And I had no idea what Orgasm Girl Trish's thing was about, so I was kind of asking questions about that, and it was also one of those things where like you could have a little fun with it too. It being that topic, and I was like curious, you've titled it Orgasm Girl and Orgasm Boy or something like that. Where essentially they have a superpower of making people climax by the snap of the fingers or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, well, like, what is this book actually like? Because I mean, like you're kind of already staging yourself for like a blind approach, what to expect inside of the book. What do you actually have as content? Like, is this going to be really explicit, et cetera, et cetera? So like, I was just asking questions about that. But she seemed like she wanted to be more in the background, like for the whole thing too.
Trish is a different kind of YouTuber in that, you know, she's somewhat introverted but also extroverted at the same time. She has stated that she does suffer from bipolar disorder.
Oh, that sucks.
So it could have been that sometimes I catch her when she's like in one of her off phases.
I didn't feel like so much. I didn't feel like she was like a drag or anything like that.
No,
but
she's
we
not,
we did have to like kind of pull information out of her.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, it's like the phases of the moon. You don't really know at what stage she's going to be at, and most of the time she's pretty timid, and she just likes to just chill out.
And I said like as far as like your early promotion gigs and interviews that you did, like it took a while to get there, but when you did, like you got like she was like pulling stuff out of you, and I was just like, man, this is actually great,
she's like,
great promo stream.
Yeah, it's interesting with Trish because it's, I guess, when like we're on streams together, like it's kind of like we're trying to warm up. You know what I mean? It's really odd. It's like, yeah, I mean, I have that same problem as well, where sometimes like I'll just be like completely cold and rigid, and I'm just like, it takes me a while to just get into the groove of things, so to say, and then when we do, it's like, you know, things start jiving like jazz, so to say.
Like in my experience of it, like I had a great time, and then like I said, like I was talking till 2 a.m. my time with 3D Zach about like just like his background experiences, and half of that's already gone because I was drinking that night anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, it was cool to connect with him, and I found out like Twitter is such a shit platform in so many ways.
Totally.
And one of them is just like you see posts from people and you just figure you're following them, and then you'll see the occasional post from somebody and you think you've been following them, or you go to follow them and you find out you've been following them, but you don't get their shit as posts. Like it's really weird how it decides what it shows you, doesn't show you. And I was like, I was sure I had already been following them, but I wasn't. So like, you know, we both like now we're like following each other on Twitter or whatever. But like I was interested too, like in product, like I also felt like I steered that whole conversation towards a realm that most people aren't interested in, but I'm interested in, where I'm like, oh, what's it like to do a campaign? What's it like to like print the shit out?
People
you do 3D. I think some people do, but at the same time, people love like the bread and circuses, you know, like you said, the drama and stuff like that. Like we comment on the Will Smith slap and our takes and our opposite takes, you know, that's what people like fucking really love.
Yeah, but the Fresher stream is never about drama. It's never been about drama.
But I like hearing shit like, you know, and he's like 3D Zach. I'm like, oh, do you use 3D printing? He's like, yeah, it's kind of mechanical. I'm like, well, what are you printing, man? Are you printing guns? like because like I feel like that's it's been tamped down on. Like, is that something you actually do? That's crazy. That's cool. Like I think it's cool to do that. But I find like 3D printing in general kind of cool, and like, what are the limits? What can you do? What would you use the software? Like I want to like dive like further and further into those conversations, but I don't want to get too deep into it. But at the same time, you know, it was a promo stream. It was kind of like a highlight of people's talents. I wanted to be like, oh, what is everything that you can do where you're at and all that. And even hearing like he was doing something, I forget his name, the guy who does the buckler, where he was like, man, I fucked up. And the shipment, 230 copies I had to reprint, and what a fucking thing that was, like the chomp down on to eat. And you know, he's like, you know, you live and learn, and yeah, of course there is that process, but it sucks when you have to like eat that kind of a thing. And you want the best, of course, for these guys who are really extending themselves out there to put themselves out there. So my hope is that people see his services, see his goods. You know, I was all about I was trying to give like a backer side of view to you guys. Like what do I look forward to, like when I back your books? What do I expect? And at the same time, what are the things, like when I get the book in hand, that I like, just like I get really pissed off when I see it happen. So like I was talking about handling like black pages and how like I've seen
the
fingerprints remain behind. Like it's more like a greenish kind of
that
like
was
after
the
thing.
thing. That was the thing that I noticed when you gave that review. There was another thing that you said in your review of the book that I was curious about. It was about something about the sound effects or the lettering.
Oh, I was just kind of more like I would like more variation in it. Like what you did, like you were selling a story, but I was like, man, like you're kind of, it seems more like a copy paste rather than like it's like a build up or something. I wanted more. Like it doesn't necessarily have to end up this way if you find it doesn't work, but and maybe you did, but playing with the like sizing,
Yeah, I did. I did
everything.
I did all those things. What are you talking about?
Well, listen, I'm not saying you did a bad job. Like I feel like you did a great
Sounds
job.
like you're saying I did a bad job there.
No. It's one of the things. Listen,
I'm just fucking with you, man. I don't give a shit.
No, I would say if I had to grade myself, like what I think my weakest part of my entire skill set would be typography, lettering, like that genre of stuff. So like I'm always looking at. I would say yours is definitely like I don't look at it. There's a number of books that have been put out and done. I've gotten, and I'm just like, God, the lettering is awful, like awful, and like it's just like, yeah, you should hire Eric Weathers or somebody to do your stuff. Like, at least make it serviceable where like it's not blocking the rest of your content. I don't feel like you had that problem at all. For me, it was like more like I was looking for extra play beyond what you did, like breaking. It's kind of like Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, right?
What is that? What? I am not. You've lost me now.
All right, this is where I'm gonna throw it at you. So Beethoven's Ninth Symphony was like actually breaking the entire format of what the symphony was supposed to be. So it's kind of like you've already defined yourself. Now break out, like you've learned the rules, break the rules. Like I would say your stuff is all very well defined. But like okay, for example, in the first book, there's the bit where like he's in the fight, Skull Knight's in the fight with the other awakened armor, possessed armor set, and he's just walking across the thing, and it's like clank, 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 clank is going down the thing. So you're selling a walk, like he's moving along. If you just built that up, or you had like a break in it every so often, or something.
What? But he's walking. He's mechanically walking.
Yes, but I mean, you can sell like distance or
that's in there
and stuff like that.
That's in there.
Well, essentially, I'm saying is like a little more breaking outside the boundaries that you set for yourself. I think, dude, you have curated a well-designed package, up and down. Like
if that's what you think, you're gonna be real disappointed with book 2.
Well, listen, I'm ready to be thrown some curveballs, and I like surprises in books.
Even I like surprises.
Maybe, I like shit where like I didn't see it coming and it just happened. Like I felt like One Piece was one of these things where like I got into it and it just seemed like a dumb fun anime, and then like it got into like essentially like there's like this whole like slavery second class system that they didn't really explore in the early parts of it, that embedded itself more, and there's like more of a overall conspiracy and like the actual Navy system that was supposed to put in justice and stuff is actually a system of injustice. Like it kind of turned everything from the beginnings on its head, and gave you a feeling like there was something more. Like I like being surprised by like a twist like that, but it doesn't necessarily sacrifice everything that came before it. It's just like, oh, you just didn't see the full picture yet. You didn't pull back far enough or whatever. So if you're adding in new elements where it's just like it seems outside of the box of what you've done.
It's totally not. It's all in the box. It's all predictable. Don't worry about it. Anyway, we've gone on long enough, and I'm going to bed.
In a way, I'm just telling you, like that's my perspective.
You can tell me, but I will ignore. I will ignore it.
You have that freedom.
Yes.
You have the freedom.
I am still a free man.
So thanks for everyone coming by. Anything you want to plug or push out there before we kick off here?
No, the campaign's done. Go check out scatter.art and check out Capsule Machine if you want some cool NFTs from a group of talented artists. We've got 500 and I think 15 pieces minted already. So get in and buy one if you're interested. It comes with a commercial license. So you can make a t-shirt, you can make a mug with whatever NFT you purchase after it's revealed. And yeah, that's really all I have to promote at this stage.
Nice, man. Well, thanks for being on, and we'll check in with you guys next time.
Stay fresh.
Take it easy.